Bolenbaugh. It's March 26th. This site is right across from their house. Can you tell me what your name is, please?
Andrew Griffith and Kimberly Messenger.
All right. So there's a site right here, right next to their house. I mean, it's right down below. Right here's their house, everybody.
We're standing on our deck enjoying the scenic view.
Yeah, the scenic view. So this area I complained about back in, it was October or November, and it took them a while to get out here and start cleaning. They were out here for a little bit, but they left, and I know they weren't coming back, but because of my complaints, I think that was the reason why they came back here in the wintertime, because they were off for a while. How long do you think they were gone?
A couple months.
So they were gone a couple months from this site. Here's the thing. Why would you leave for a couple months? If you're working, why do you leave? Why do you pull everything out?
They pulled up all the railroad ties to get out to make it look all done, and then they came back, and now they're working 24 hours a day. You know, it doesn't stop. This shit goes on all day. It doesn't end. And Eric was up here, and he even said from Enbridge, I asked him, I said, listen, I said, what's the situation with why they're doing it 24 hours a day? And he said, there's a deadline coming up. I said, so if they miss their deadline,
they get fined.
They get fined. $8,000 a day is what I was told. Not by him, but $8,000 a day. And I said, so I have to be more inconvenienced by this so Enbridge, a company worth $30 billion plus can save some money. They bought every house around the corner, and I asked Eric, they'd have bought this house if I was over on that side of the street. Oh, yep. He said, but we're out of the red zone. I said, no, but apparently this road is magic because it keeps the oil. This is wetlands, or they wouldn't have put the railroad ties down to get to it. So it's
the oil actually reached all the way up to the edge here.
I'm sure it has. We took pictures of it up the edge.
Right, and I got video that there was oil all the way up. I'm gonna give you some more video in a little bit down there, a little closer. Enbridge tries to arrest me all the time, but I haven't done nothing wrong.
Well, as soon as the News 3 team showed up here yesterday, or day before yesterday, Eric was here, and as soon as he seen him go by, he goes, I gotta go. I can't be here. I gotta go. I can't talk to him. Only what's his name, Kevin O'Connell could talk to him.
Why can't? Well, if he's
and then as soon as the interview was over, Jared Wertzma of the I-Team was outside, and his phone rang instantly, and it was Kevin O'Connell, or whatever his name, Kevin O'Connell, is that it?
The Enbridge guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was him on the phone calling. What did they say? What did they say? And the I-Team, he was like, what everybody else is saying, you know? Why haven't you bought this house, you know? And Eric said before he left, he goes, I'm going to talk to my, superiors or whatever. He said, I think I can get you guys something. I'll get you something.
I hope so. You guys deserve it. I mean, they haven't even received an inconvenience fee, and this is right in their backyard, nonstop, day after day.
24 hours a day.
24 hours a day. This is worse than most of the areas. I mean, this is a huge site. It's very loud, very obnoxious.
Sure, they can hear it.
Yeah, tons of vehicles going by nonstop every day.
The road has been destroyed.
The road is, yeah, that's another thing. They're not paying for the roads to be fixed.
Yeah, well,
the fumes, coughing,
my throat, sore throat,
headaches.
I evacuated the house when it first happened because it smelled like an Iraqi oil field here, and so they stayed in South Haven for the summer.
So did they ever offer a hotel for you or anything?
No.
Did they ever come by and say?
They never compensated us for anything. And she had to drive. She was driving from South Haven to work in Kalamazoo every day.
Wow. So how much gas do you think you spent on that?
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
So probably $1,000 that you spent out of your pocket because of the inconvenience of Enbridge.
Absolutely right.
Well,
and it cost me a summer at my house with my family. They were gone.
Yep, that's
true. I was
true.
here all summer.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big inconvenience right there.
And it didn't matter. Saturdays, Sundays, holidays, they were going nonstop. We had the barbecue grill going, and if you had to pass me the ketchup, I'd have to yell at you, pass it, because of that. They had the swamp boats out here. It was like the International Hot Boat Association all summer.
We couldn't hear our TV. We could not be sitting in the living room.
You couldn't have your windows open.
We had to shut everything up and sit there and try to watch a show because they were so loud.
We got Purelator filters on the faucets.
They never offered to pay.
Never offered to pay for that.
Wow.
For any.
You guys are a good story. I'm serious.
Too bad it's not anything but a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Our house, we don't owe a dime on this. It was appraised 5 years ago at $155,000. We've got acres, and it's worth. Who would buy this?
Right. Exactly. That's what Jamie just said.
We paid for it. We're not trying to get out of a bank loan. We don't owe a bank. This is paid for. We own
wanted,
this.
we wanted to live here. This is our home, our kids' home.
We were just about to put an addition on the house, but
we don't know.
We don't know. We don't want to put any more money into this house.
Right. So basically, Enbridge ruined your future. You planned on being here. You paid it off. This is where you want to be and what you like, and now you don't know if you want to be here now. I mean, I wouldn't want to put my kids in the river. I'm serious because they've never cleaned the
asshole. I said my kid ain't walked with all these out-of-state cars down here. They chased out all them illegal immigrants.
Right.
Down to Texas. They pulled the bus over. Half of them run back to Mexico, and they were all up here illegal working. But my daughter calls me at work, and she says that they're not going to drive me down the road. And I said, what do you mean? Because they won't let her down there. And so I called Eric, and I said, I'm going to have a 6-year-old getting off the bus in another hour. Is she going to walk a quarter mile?
Just told us to. Right. I mean, they stood right there and told our whole crew right here over here on River Road to.
We have.
They're fucking doing it across the street right now. I can see them scooping the dirt right now.
Yeah.
They're doing it right now. I was watching them today.
But remember when we went down on the quad?
Look at all the buckets they got out there. They're digging dirt out of bins or whatever. They got dump trucks in and out of there all day, every day. They're covering it up right now.
So you think they're putting dirt over oil right now?
I think they're putting dirt down. Why the hell else they got fresh dirt out it up? When they brought the helicopter in here, and then they said they were going to shut the fucking road down to have a helicopter, I said the people of Battle Creek seen a helicopter before. We have an air show here every year.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it that you don't want them to see? You got a landing spot over there for the helicopter. It's not in the road or anything like that, but you got to have the road blocked off for a week last year for something. Now what is it that you were?
I was there.
Why block the road off and keep everybody? They were gonna ask people, who they were and such about,
to come
down the road. They were gonna ask ID for everybody, and if you don't live on this road and shit. And I told them flat out, bullshit. We've got company coming over. You're not gonna be stopping them at the end of the road and not letting them down. But, they just think that they can just come in here, do what they want, which is as little as possible.
They always try to stop everybody from videotaping. If you've noticed, I don't know if you ever heard, but when this bill first happened, they didn't want nobody videotaping. They told us to scare people out. I never did personally, but I've seen it happen. And now I understand why. They didn't want you to videotape that oil was right next to the road or wherever, because then you go to court and you can prove it. Because what they're doing is GPS they're not doing GPS from where the oil reached. They're doing GPS from the river bank. They're not even checking the GPS. They're just going off what the blueprint says.
Right.
And so that's when people say 200 feet, they're within 200 feet of where the oil was, but Enbridge is saying they're not. And it's
they said we're like 400 feet or whatever, but I thought.
But where do you start measuring from?
You start measuring from where the oil is.
They check from the shoreline.
Right.
Yeah,
that's where we
went to the little place in Marshall where they have a little Enbridge thing set up, and on the computer screen she showed us our house, and she showed us we want to start a claim, and she showed us the river, and then the little line, and you're not in it.
And I tried to tell them, I said, that's wetland.
Wetland.
There were cattails down there, not cactuses.
Right at our mailbox. Right behind our mailbox. That's where.
Instantly wetland.
Well, that's how they get away with not paying people. But the thing is, when they go to trial and it's proved that it's 1,000-foot mandatory evacuation, everybody's going to win. I'm telling you, you're going to win. You got to get a lawyer. Even if you're only getting 10, 15 grand, whatever. Everybody needs to do that because the only way to stop these guys is to get in their pocketbooks.
I'm not saying that's what caused it.
Right. No. Well, there 2 people in Baker Trailer Park died, and there's no way to prove how. But the thing is, they're smelling that benzene, and they had asthma and stuff, and they passed away. Who knows?
My daughter, she lives right down here too. You might want to talk to her, but her daughter got mysteriously sick. No idea. She's like 20-something years old and really sick. And she said she died in the helicopter ride, life care. Died once, and they got her back, but it was a lung thing. It was something with her lungs.
And this was how long after the spill?
I'm not sure exactly how long. She just contacted me on Facebook and wanted to know what I've heard or if I've talked to anybody, because she knows where I live. So she wanted to know if any of us have had any problems, and she told me about her daughter. I knew her daughter had gotten sick, and so, she's like, her property is down by off of Beetle Lake, and there's like a little creek that backs up on the side of her property, and she thinks, you know, that
It's possible that that's
possible,
the reason.
and her daughter lives close to the river also.
Some people are really allergic to this too. So,
Right.
your dog a little bit.
Well, we
What you think happened?
I don't know.
In your opinion?
I know that I myself personally, because I stayed here while the family was gone, but since it's happened, I've complained to Kim several times about chest pains, throat pain, you know, that I've never had in my life. And all of a sudden it's come on. It's like a cramping in my chest and an aching in the bottom of my throat. And then my dog, he was 93.7 pound pit bull, you know, 7 years old.
Not to mention you have no insurance.
Yeah, I have no insurance to even go to the doctor to find out what's wrong.
And Enbridge won't pay for it.
No, of course not. And my dog just mysteriously started filling his abdomen and his lungs with fluid, and I took him to the vet and had it drained, and within 24 hours, I got back home from work again, and I called down there and said, I'm on my way, this is an emergency, because they were closing. I got him down there because they were putting him on Lasix, and he wouldn't even eat a treat, wouldn't eat anything. And the doc said, it's a wrap, he's done, you know. And within, you know, a week, it was just fast, and boom, he was gone. And he was a stud. I mean, you know, never got table scraps, always dog food. I mean, it wasn't like he was an unhealthy dog. And he's gone now.
But he breathed these chemicals in for all that time.
Absolutely. He was here with me. And here I'm, you know, I've got chest pains. I've got throat pains. You know, I don't know what's wrong. I can't go to the doctor. I can't afford insurance. You know, and they're not going to pay for it.
Has Enbridge ever offered to pay for you to go to the doctor?
Enbridge has never offered to buy me a pop. You know, Enbridge doesn't do anything. But, you know, they send Eric up here to put out fires. You know, every time I'm pissed off, you know, and I feel sorry for Eric. He's got a shitty job, you know, because he's the guy that the cowards sitting behind the desk send out to do their dirty work.
Like Pat Daniels, the president of Enbridge,
Absolutely.
CEO.
Why doesn't he come over and talk to me?
So, what do you think about the EPA?
I think they're on Enbridge's side.
Okay, and
I
why?
don't think they're set up to protect anybody because they haven't been over here to ask us anything. They come over to test the water once in a while, and I don't even know if it's EPA. Who is it that comes and tests it? I don't trust any of them. I think they're all in bed together.
Well, I believe that too. They go to the bar together, they hang out together, they eat lunch together.
Like I said before, I think no matter how good intentions you could have going into politics and stuff like that, when a company like Enbridge, these powerhouses, put more money in front of you than you've ever seen in your life just to go their way on this one little deal here, you know, I think that it creates a lot of corruption, you know, and I'm pissed about it. I've had it with it, you know, nobody seems to listen, you know, and Enbridge has me listed as hostile, you know, they don't want me talking to them because they don't like the F-bombs, and they don't, you know, when my daughter calls me up and tells me that she's going to get dropped off at the end of the road and have to walk, she's, you know, 13 at the time, and got to walk in front of a bunch of people that every car out there, every truck out there's got out-of-state plates. They chased illegal immigrants that they had working on the site here down to Texas, pulled them over. They ran off into the sunset. You know, I don't know that one of them could throw my daughter, she's 13, into the trunk of her car and be gone. You know, and then an hour after that, my 6-year-old's getting off the bus, and she's supposed to walk a quarter of a mile by herself. So when I called him, I was hostile, and usually when I talk to him, I'm hostile. So who wouldn't be?
You're frustrated. You're mad. I am too.
It's more than mad. I'm furious. I'm frustrated. You're helpless. We're working class, blue collar people, and trying to raise a family in a home that we purchased to, you know, grow old in. And here we've got a toxic waste dump out in front. And everybody's telling us, oh, it's going to be okay. And, you know, they tell us, well, we tested over here, we tested here. I said, I don't give a fuck where you tested. You know, I'm talking about right here. You know, what's going on out in front of here? Oh, well, we test this and we test that. You know, that's what you say. So I don't know you, but I'm supposed to trust you. You work for the bad guy, and you're over here blowing sunshine up my ass. It ain't happening, you know. Mother Griffith never raised such a foolish child. Sorry, Enbridge. Fuck you.
John Bolenbaugh, March 26th. I just talked to the residents that live in this house right here, and they are not happy with Enbridge. Not happy at all. So I'm going to videotape the cleanup efforts of this area, and this guy's yelling at me right now. So, but I really don't care. I have a right to videotape. I'm on the road, public property. I have a right to videotape and see what's going on around here. Check out their cleanup efforts.